as a long-term buffer to fuel shortage and price hikes, the Petroleum Outlets Association of Kenya, POAC, has recommended the construction of strategic fuel reserves to ensure security of supply during disruptions such as the ongoing war in the Gulf. POAC now says the lowest hanging fruit for Kenya would be a joint venture partnerships with key fuel suppliers under the government-to-government arrangement. NTV's Brian George with the lowdown.
Under Section 96 of the Petroleum Act of 2019, the law allows the government to finance, procure, store, maintain and manage strategic petroleum reserves. The purpose is to ensure that Kenya has adequate petroleum stocks in case of supply shocks. The Act envisioned Kenya having security of supply for up to 90 days. However, Kenya's current capacity doesn't support this.
You see what we have right now, what I'm referring as to as installed capacity, is not even what you call strategic oil reserve capacity. That is the depot that we have, that Kenya Pipeline, together with the private companies that market oil here, they are where they store their product. So, and it is the law. The law requires the oil marketers to have, if you're doing oil marketing in Kenya, to have supplies that would last you at the very least 20 days. So that is what we are translating into what would last us.
Kenya's current storage capacity is at between 1.5 to 1.8 billion litres, inclusive of other storage facilities spread across the country. The fuel arrives at the port of Mombasa, stored at coastal tank farms, pumped through over 1,700-kilometre pipeline network inland, stored in regional depots and distributed to fuel stations and neighbouring countries. Currently, IPRA averages daily nationwide consumption of major fuel products at 20 million litres per day. So theoretically, Kenya could hold about 90 days of supply. However, it's not practical to go the long haul because the tanks cannot be filled simultaneously. Some storage and distribution channels are dedicated to specific fuels, and stocks are constantly moving through the system. Being a capital-intensive venture to hack, the association now calls on the government to deploy similar innovative capital-raising mechanisms as seen in infrastructure development or joint ventures to secure a long-term solution to global fuel supply shocks.
So among the things I would offer, if I was running the Ministry of Energy today through the government, I would offer an incentive to those countries, multinational organizations who are selling petroleum, say from the UAE and the Arab nations, and tell them, can you come and build tanks here that you can use to sell to the mainland, other countries in Africa? And you'll have given them logistical pedestal that will make it very easy for them to reach the mainland Africa, especially the East Africa and the Central Africa. And while they are doing that, they will have given you a strategic oil reserve, because you just need to craft in terms of crisis that Kenya will have the first priority to use this product.
POAC also holds that even the subsidies sought under the Petroleum Development Levy aren't sustainable in the long run. Strategic fuel reserves are becoming more urgent given supply disruptions linked to the conflict in the Middle East, shipping risks through the Red Sea, and pricing volatility in global oil markets. Constructing one would mean Kenya designating part of the national stockpile as emergency reserves. Brian George, Otieno, NTV, Nairobi.